On today's video, the skill lock function and reset is in Rise of Kingdoms. And boy, it is definitely not what we expected. And that is everything we're going to talk about in this video. Exactly what this thing is meant to be, why it's not what we want it to be, and the reality behind the fact that Rise of Kingdoms has continued through a path that I've been telling you guys about for many times now. And we'll talk about that once more here. So sit back, slap a like on the video, and let's go. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. I'd like to actually start this video reading the Commander Skill Upgrade System Optimizations mail that came out of Lilith, because I think Rhony said it best. This is not what we expected. But before we start though, don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe down below. Let me tell you guys a story, the reality behind Rise of Kingdoms that I keep telling you over and over. We are now reaching a point in the life cycle of Rise of Kingdoms where new players need to catch up at a much faster pace with older players in order to be able to keep up. We see it in these games all the time. There is a honeymoon period where everybody's just on a constant growth path, and at some point in time, the folks who started playing a year or two ago when the game just launched get to a certain level that unfortunately for new players that are coming in is just unattainable at the same pace. And it causes a situation in which older players cause massive issues to newer players. It's happened in every single mobile game of this category that I've played, and I've played plenty of them. And so in the life cycle of of mobile games like this, the next step is not necessarily to continually add more content and things to the game, but rather take a break and shift gears into being able to help the new players catch up with the old ones and have fun in the game. What this means is that the old players get a sort of a backseat to the priority right now, as first and foremost, the newer, younger generation of Rise of Kingdoms players need to be in the forefront of Lilith for them to be able to catch up with the elderly, with the veteran players in order to continue to play the game. Some veterans are going to say, no, we don't like this. We want to maintain the growth and the rate and just want to keep going, right? I want to keep spending $2,000 a month on the game and get an infinite amount of commanders and all that stuff continually no matter what. But others are reaching a point where, you know, maybe a small break from spending, a small break from the intensity is not that bad of a thing for them as newer players catch up, bringing new blood into the scene and making things a little more interesting community-wise. So Lilith went through the path with the commander skill upgrade that essentially told them the following. And let's read through this and then I'll tell you my thoughts. As more and more commanders governors are putting their focus on developing their commanders, it has become common to wait and upgrade the commander's star level until their primary skill has reached max level. For the record, it's been like this forever. Those who had no idea that they should do it would screw up their commanders, and then they'd have screwed up commanders. But those of us who knew that, and those who watched our videos and continued to follow the meta in the game from pretty much day one, it was very clear you do not level up your commanders until at least your first skill is fully maxed out. That's always been the recommendation from almost the first few weeks of me playing Rise of Kingdoms. Governors who did not become aware of this strategy until later have missed out on what is considered to be the most effective development path. With that in mind, we will be optimizing the commander skill upgrade system in this next update. After the update, we will be able to choose which skill your commanders can have upgraded each time they level up. But you cannot skip or omit earlier skills. For example, you can choose only to let your first skill be upgraded or to have skill upgraded to be chosen at random from skill 1 and 2, and even skills 1 and 2 and 3, but you cannot choose to upgrade only skills 2 and 3 if one has not reached its max level. This way, governors will not feel like it's a mistake to upgrade their commander's star level too early. At the same time, we're giving you 3 skill reset items, which will allow you to maintain the commander's current star level, but reset their skills to level 1 so that you can choose which of their available skills to upgrade. Have fun with the optimizing your favorite commanders. As I mentioned, this is a very common thing that happens in these games. Essentially, what they're saying is there now are too many commanders, too many new players that are making mistakes and upgrading their commanders. I can tell you that my biggest mistake was getting my where is he? Freddy all the way to, I believe it was 1, 5, 3, 4 something, And it took me forever to get him to a 5-5-5-4 scenario. That you all saw on videos for 2 years. This commander was screwed up, quote unquote. This commander was not optimized, quote unquote, because I made the mistake. It was my first legendary commander, which I I brought up in stars because I wanted a high level commander like every new player. And then we find out that that's a mistake. This mechanic is not meant for the veterans. It's meant for the youngins. It's meant for the newer players, and it's meant for some free-to-play players that are not necessarily looking to expertise commanders, but are looking to level them up to be able to use them for many other things. So, what is the problem? Why are people so disappointed? People are disappointed because, just like Rhony said, it is not what we expected. The reality is, Rise of Kingdoms' veterans, the folks who have been playing for at least a couple of months, have a completely different set of expectations out of the game than what Lilith seemed to be catering for. Now, that doesn't mean that Lilith will not cater towards the expectations of others in the future. I can tell you that I know from many, many different sources that there are things coming into this game that a lot of the veterans have asked for, and a lot of different new content that can come out is probably being worked on as we speak. Lilith have not necessarily completely abandoned the older generation, but they did find that they have a problem with the younger generation, and they are catering to them in the last few updates. It's been, I believe, 5 to 6 weeks or months worth of catering to the youngins, getting the newer players being able to caught up with the old players and all that good stuff. Hopefully, it won't last too much longer. I'm assuming that we're going to see probably at least 1 or 2 more updates that have similar things. But the reality is, we are expecting and they're not meeting our expectation. But that doesn't mean that they're not meeting the expectation of other parts of the community which we don't really know about. None of us really are, especially I can tell about myself. I have friends who have been playing this game for months and if not years. I don't really know that many people that have been playing this game less than a month. How many of you know that many people that play this game less than a month? You can say, yeah, I migrated to the 2000s and there's some fresh blood in here. But those of you who migrated to the 2000s went in there with a bunch of your friends. And the reality is the folks who are playing this game for the first time in their first couple of months aren't really your best friends per se. They aren't really the people you talk to on the day-to-day. So you don't know what their expectations and what they like in this game really is. I know that the newer generation of Rise of Kingdoms players are really enjoying these updates because it gives them the opportunity to catch up with the older players. And it sucks that we are not getting catered for. But, you know, just like in the world, the world tends to cater to the youngins, and the older slowly and steadily fade into retirement, right? Let's look at this mechanic because I actually made a slight mistake. When Takeda came out, I kind of like, it was a 5... He was talked to be a 5-1-1-1 commander. I was like, screw it. I'm not really a cavalry player. Let me go ahead and 5-1-1-1 him. And I did. And it is a mistake. So what we're going to do right now is let's go reset him real quick. Try to use the reset system. I don't really have any other commanders that I need to reset, so I'm okay with using the reset points for the sakes of this thing. And so let's go ahead and reset our Takeda right there. Ooh. Unused skill points and all that good stuff. We have 6 usable skill points, which is interesting. We don't have sculptures anymore. We have skill points first. So it's not that we're getting sculptures back of Takeda, which we could exchange in some sort of event or something like that. We're getting skill points first that we need to use. Now we're going to use the lock system to go ahead and lock 3 of the skills. For now, this commander's range has been modified. Do you want to save the selection? Correct. Now, let's go back. Let's upgrade his first skill, which is what we want. And then we're going to lock him to the second skill and get that to 5-3. So we go this way, and then 1 skill done. We bring the next skill, open it up, and now we can hit the 5-3 comfortably and continue to upgrade our Takeda, which now went back into sculptures until he's a 5-5-1 X and then 5-5-5-1, and of course expertise if we choose to do so. We could have just as easily decided to unlock this as well, and worst case scenario, it is what it is. But for the sake of making this video and making this explanation and showing you kind of how this works, I'm okay with doing what we did. We more than likely will 5-5-5-1 him at some point. Right now, all of our sculptures are being aimed at Nebuchadnezzar, and maybe we're going to have to figure out how we squeeze a little bit more sculptures before the cavalry garrison commander comes out. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that one works out. Nebuchadnezzar in a couple of weeks in Mightiest Governor. I'm really looking forward for it. Honestly, it is what it is. I'm okay with this skill lock function because I didn't expect much out of it. While we speculated to make a 5-1, 5-5 Guan or some crazy stuff like that, I really didn't think it would go that easy. And by the looks of it, it's right. The last thing I can tell you as a small tip is enjoy the game. Don't expect much. And that way you'll be less disappointed. Enjoy what's in here because there's plenty, and enjoy the people that are in here. Have fun in KVKs. Take breaks from the game. You don't need to be online 24/7 all day. You can log in 3 times a day just to send gatherers, and that's it for a few minutes. Let go of the gas a little bit. I've let go of the gas for a little bit. I've worked on both my accounts much less intensively, and now that KVK is here, I'm super stoked to come back and playing it at an intensive level. So maybe it's time to, not play Rise of Kingdoms as intensively, but still enjoy the game, because there is stuff to enjoy in here, honestly. But when you expect the world and a half, you're going to be disappointed every time. And so, yeah, that's my thoughts on the skill system. I could go bashing Lilith. I could get mad at Lilith. I can do everything, all that you're doing. But I don't see a reason. I know who they're catering to. I know why they did this. I don't know why motive is king. Lord have mercy on us all. I know why they did this. I understand why they did this. I'm not happy about it, but I've accepted the fact that I'm not their priority anymore. I'll see you all sooner rather than later. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a good one. Peace.